Hi everyone, and welcome to Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we are live again Friday night on YouTube. And first, before I let you get into it, I'd like to say a big thanks to, I don't even know what that was there, honestly. I'd like to say a big thanks to John Lammy first for the 3 coffees he bought. That was very kind of you, John. That'll get Scotia a couple of pints for tomorrow. Hopefully there's no bloopers after that wee introduction. I don't know whose phone that was there, but I'll guess it was
It was the new guys, Ali. It was the new guy. He's very inexperienced at this, mate.
Well, I was just going to introduce the gang we have tonight. We have a full house tonight. The rumours that were circulating that Ryan has been sacked are false. He's back, and he's back with a bang. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Great to be here. This is my first podcast. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, a bit nervous. The noise you heard there is my son FaceTiming me, and he's still FaceTiming me. Clearly, he's not watching the podcast at the moment. I'm good, boys. It's good to see your faces, and Rangers are back. It's a great feeling, and signings are coming in as well. I said the last pod I was on, tolerance and sanity, they will come, and they've come in abundance.
Exactly. And Scotia, I apologise because I blamed you instantly for that. It wasn't you, so I apologise for that one. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Ali. Cheers. It's good to have all 4 of us back because it's been about a month now. It must have been since all 4 of us were on. So at least we get a wee quick rundown before the season starts proper next week. So no, good to be on.
Yep. And last but not least, Scott Carney, 2-3 weeks into being a father now. Must be just like a normal routine you're into now.
Yes, very much so, mate. I was saying just before we come on, this has been my first full week back at work, and yeah, I mean, he's great, like, he is great, but everything just catches up on you, man, like, it really does, tiredness, but no, everything is great, mate. He met you during the week, so he was delighted at that, but no, everything is great, mate. But that step closer to having competitive football back, it all seems very much round the corner now, so looking forward to this, mate.
Yeah, to be honest, we've got quite a lot to get into tonight in terms of Rangers news, which is good. So we'll just dive straight into it. And it was a West Ham game on Tuesday night there. Carney, you obviously had a match reaction on it and a breakdown about the game. Myself, Scotia and Ryan were all at the game. I've seen the team lineups before. West Ham putting out pretty much their starting lineup, I would say, which they usually do. Us were a strong team, but obviously none of the new players were really bedded in. Only Cholak was really there and Suter from the beginning. But Ryan, you were there with your dad. First half was all right. Second half, once the new boys come on, was good. What was your overall thoughts of the performance for Rangers? And which I thought 20 minutes of that second half, outstanding football by Rangers.
Yeah, they played some really attractive football. I enjoyed it. Usually with friendlies, I'm not really fussed to them. I think last year I went to, was it Real Madrid and Brighton I only went to them because we had closed door for so long, so I was desperate to get back into Ibrox, and then these 2 games come up and I thought, I'll just go to them. I'm so glad I went on Tuesday. I think Gio kind of set up 2 teams. A kind of team, I know he had no decision but to play Cholak really up front because we're kind of lacking strikers at the moment, but I think he played kind of last year's team in sense that with last year's tactics with the three midfielders with Jack. Kamara was slightly forward in Lundstrom. You could see Rangers will always have a lot of possession against teams because we're a decent football team, let's be honest. But I think in the second half, when you seen that he burned one of the midfielders, it was Jack that went off, and Tom Lawrence come on, and Matondo come on, and Scott Wright went off. Different team, a totally different team. Just instead of too many passes sideways, it was direct football. It was cutting teams up in triangles. I know it sounds like an old cliche, but it really was, and attractive to watch as well. I love the way they kind of, although it gave you a kind of a heart scare a few times, the way we kind of drew West Ham into us just by passing the ball about the back. McLaughlin seems to really fancy himself at doing those wee Cruyff turns, but I thought his tactics worked well as well. Rangers were phenomenal for, as you say, 15, 20 minutes. And I was very impressed with our new signings, and so many positives to come out of friendly, and that's what you're looking for. I think if you look at the couple of negatives, I would say Scott Wright for me. I'm kind of at the stage where I don't think he's going to cut it with Rangers. I'm sorry, but we seem to go round and around about with Scott Wright and think, oh, he can do it, and then he gets his chance and just. I think we're moving on to higher quality now, and Matondo looks like the man. He looks like the right winger that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I agree with that. I listened to Carney's match reaction. He picked out, me and Scotia were the same. We sat beside each other. Scott Wright, we thought was quiet compared to the last couple of games he played for Rangers in pre-season. And I also thought Suter at times looked slightly shaky as well. We'll come on to obviously another signing. But Scotia, we went along on Tuesday night, seen the team beforehand, was slightly disappointed again because you want to see all the new guys straight in, but understand what Gio was doing. Tillman wasn't there, but we know the reason for that. But obviously I sat beside you on Tuesday night, but that second half in particular, Ryan's talking about 3 absolutely outstanding goals. And as Ryan alluded to, we two were shiting ourselves when they're playing this ball out the back, Rangers, but the way they did it and broke with Lawrence and the boy Matondo, it looks very exciting going forward.
Yeah, you're referring to that second goal there, and it all started sort of from, I think it was McLaughlin and Barisic down in the left-hand side of the pitch, and then worked the ball all the way up. And yeah, it was a great ball. The way that it broke forward, Matondo and Lawrence, it shows you what we were missing last season, I think, in terms of those type of players getting in that area. And I think both Matondo and Lawrence as well made Kent kind of up his game a wee bit in that 20-minute period, because obviously he goes away and scores the second, Kent, doesn't he? But that goal, kind of reminiscent of the goal we scored against Galatasaray in the qualifiers for the Europa Cup season or two back. No, I thought the whole night was really enjoyable. First half, thought we were fairly decent. I agree with what you're saying there in terms of Wright. Suter, I thought Suter was fairly solid, given that he's playing at the left side of that defence. I think Gio's doing that to see if that was an option that'll work, going forward, just playing those two in the centre of defence. Thought it was okay. A wee shaky moment where the ball got cut in between him and Goldson, but you can't expect that in friendlies. But overall, first half, fairly decent without really doing anything in the final third. And I did feel a wee bit sorry for Čolak because I thought his movement was really, really good, but he just wasn't getting any service. And then, the second half was absolutely brilliant. So it was an enjoyable evening. And I noticed as well that the new menu was on it in the stalls at Ibrox for the food. Didn't actually taste any myself, but I did see that the new menu's up and running.
Yeah, that's, for God, we could talk about all night. That's probably another discussion. I said to Carney when I see him on Wednesday night about the new menu, we had a look, and I said to Carney, I was like, I don't know what it was like for Ryan and the Govan, but in the club deck, it was very limited in terms of what it was probably worse than last season, to be honest, what you could get. But that's maybe something we could go into again, because I'll let Rangers bed themselves some of that first. But Carney, obviously you did your match reaction. A couple of players for me that stood out, and obviously stood out for yourself. I thought Borna Barisic looked like a man that knew, he's playing for his jersey. I know Ryan, he's not Ryan's favourite pal, Borna Barisic, but I thought he put a good shift in, Barisic. And I also thought Glenn Kamara as well was good. Slightly further forward, I thought he was decent. And then obviously the new boys in Lawrence in particular, who I'm kind of raving about because I've seen him play for Derby a lot. He's that goal-scoring midfielder that I think we need, and you've seen that straight away from him. And obviously boy Matondo's get pace to burn, so I don't want to get too carried away with this Rangers team, but I kind of want to get carried away, but it was very enjoyable.
It was. I think that I particularly liked about Lawrence was the positions that he was picking up when we were going forward. He's just not scared to get himself into the box, and we've been screaming for that. And as good as some people think Glenn Kamara is in that position, Lawrence is a completely different kettle of fish because he wants to be there. Like he knows what runs to make. He's already that player. And I know we've said before that Kamara sometimes plays that position for Finland, but I think Lawrence is definitely the player to be playing in that number 10 role, if you like. I think it has to be him. Very impressed with him and very impressed with Matondo. Honestly, he's bigger than I thought he was. I didn't think he was that big in stature, and wow, he's fast. That boy is quick, absolutely quick. And I think, especially in European games, he could shine. He really could. Borna Barisic and John Suter, for that matter, I think both of them were very aware that Rangers are looking to do business, and Suter knows that Davis has come in, and I know we're going to come on to that, so I'll leave my thoughts on that till then. But I was very impressed with Borna Barisic. Like the first half, especially, I thought he was great. I really did. It was like a new Borna again. It was very impressive to see. But I think he's the bit that the thing that summed it up for me is somebody put a GIF on Twitter, and it was the bit from In Betweeners where that, I think it's Jay, and he goes, "That's bang out of order, I'm first reserve," and it's like when Borna sees that Rangers are in for Yilmaz. I was like, that's probably how Borna's feeling right now, because if the rumours are to be believed, and I know we'll come on to it, then this boy's coming here to play. So, but look, it was pre-season, yes it was, but my goodness, that 20 minutes of the second half was something to behold. They just took the brakes off Rangers and decided, I think Gio's obviously decided, go out there now, 20 minutes, full throttle, and see what you can do. And yeah, it was everything that you wanted to see. Very impressive for Lawrence and Matondo to make your debut like that at Ibrox. And yes, they've scored in a friendly and they'll have to do it for the real thing, but it won't half give them the confidence now that they can do it, that they definitely can do it. So I'll roll on tomorrow, mate, and roll on next week. I cannot wait now.
Yeah, no, it was really enjoyable Tuesday. I mean, it was very warm in the heat and Tuesday night going along there. Everyone was in their shorts, but it was it was a very enjoyable Tuesday night, and the new players in particular, I thought, shone, which was a positive going forward. But moving on, obviously the big transfer rumour that was going about last week, and we knew it was going to happen, was Big Bassey finally announced going to Ajax for reportedly 22 million up front plus add-ons, etc., rising to possibly over 25, 26 million. So, Scotia, I'll come to you. This is money for a guy that really, I've said it in umpteen pods, if Big Phil Hollander didn't get injured last season, would we have seen this from Bassey? I don't know. But that type of business, this is a model we should be aiming for all the time. And Bassey's the first of hopefully many for the Rangers can cash in on, and it's some bit of business by Rangers.
It is indeed. I mean, those numbers that you quoted there, Ali, were they euros? Because that seems a bit high from what I've been reading in terms of, so about £20 million in terms of the.
I don't know the exact breakdown of the deal, Scotia, because I wasn't involved with it with Rangers. But
you can contact a local Celtic fan, and they'll be able to tell you the breakdown of the deal to the exact figure.
Yes, they will.
It was Euros, Scotia, reportedly Euros.
Euros, right, yeah, because when you said 22, that seemed a bit higher than the reports I was reading, but because I know I was a wee bit disappointed in terms of the fee being and a wee bit of the low side if you were quoting in pounds there, but we do have that 10% sell-on clause, which Ajax don't generally do, so I think that's lowered the deal a wee bit there, but great bit of business in any case for Rangers, for a player that's only played in 65 games all in for us over his time here, getting 20 million quid back and then potentially rising even more, if he goes on to develop at Ajax, as we hope he will, then that's tremendous business, because we've not done it often enough. I was looking through kind of our last bigger transfers, and you've got Patterson, similar mould there, and then previous to that it was Hutton and then Boomsong, I think, are the only two that kind of stand out in terms of selling players on for a big profit. And obviously there's always a wee bit of a laugh and a joke about the Boomsong stuff and what happened there. But in terms for Bassey, for the player, I think it's a great move for him. Personally, going to that league, playing in that team, he's going to be playing in a club that are expected to win everything domestically. So that'll be good for him, similar to Rangers in that respect. And I think as well, it gives him a wee bit more stability in terms of, I've noticed an awful lot with players, be it from Scotland, any team in Scotland, go down to a Premiership club. Invariably, the manager that brings them down gets sacked halfway through the season, and they never get seen playing for that club again, and it just hinders their development. So I think in terms of Bassey, it's great development potential for him, and hopefully they do what they've done, Ajax, like what they've done with Martinez, selling him on for €50 million to Manchester United. So we hope the same happens with Bassey.
Yeah, Carney, it's business not to be sniffed at by Rangers. The figures for a guy that we got as a development fee for Leicester, it's frightening. For a guy that really played 2/3 of a season, really last season, in terms of he was in and out at the beginning of the season until Big Phil got injured, but some amount of business for Rangers to bring that money in, and which will come on to reinvest in the team with other players. So fantastic bit of business. Sad to see the big man go, but we can't say no to that.
I'm devastated to see him go. He won our hearts, the big man, just for the 6 months of football, and he's just such a likable guy. He really is. Even when you hear him talking, and he's so keen to learn, and we've heard it so many times. He's a coach's dream. Everybody wants a player like that, constantly asking questions, constantly looking of ways to improve. There's a lot of people where I've seen some negative comments regarding the transfer fee. I think it's just ridiculous business. It really is. If you owned a company and you were doing business like that, you would have all sorts of people wanting to come and invest because the profit margin is gigantic. And I said it on Tuesday night after the game. If Bassey turns out to be the player that we all hope he's going to turn out to be, and why it hurts so much the fact that he's away, he will go for 50, 60, 70 million. You know what it's like in the English Premiership. He could go for ludicrous money. And the Scottish transfer fee that people speak about, Rangers will surpass that because the add-on clause is going to take it well past 25 million. £25 million. So I think it's amazing business by Rangers. I think it's amazing that they've managed to get the sell-on clause included into the deal because it's something that Ajax as a club don't do. So I think it shows how keen they were for him. I think it's good that Bassey's also went to a place that he seems to really want to have went. I think he's obviously fully understood it wasn't to be for him at Rangers. I don't think he would have been knocking at the door asking to leave. I think he was quite keen here. He was quite happy here. He seemed to enjoy it, but it's football, and he has a massive future, unfortunately, that's probably out with Rangers. I could literally see him going anywhere he wants. I think he could be big in Spain. I think he could be big in the English Premiership. I think the future is very bright for him. Absolutely gutted to see him go, really am, but a fantastic business by Rangers. And yeah, if we're continuing to be linked and investing the way that we are, then we all slated Ross Wilson, and I think we've all had a bit of egg on our face, put it that way.
Yeah, Ryan, I mean, but the improvement in Bassey last season was frightening at times, game on game, the development in that boy. I'm trying to think of a guy that I've seen develop as fast as him. And back, the only one I can really think of was Alan Hutton back in the day when he had that kind of 6 months purple and we sold him to Tottenham. He had a kind of spell like that, but he's going to go on to big things, Bassey. Disappointing that he's gone, but in a positive, I think we're attracting good players to Rangers now, and they'll look at Bassey and go, if I go there, do well, play in Europe, I can then move on. So I think it's a positive overall.
Cheers, Ali. Took my answer straight away there, as you always do.
Oh, that's
what I was going to say. I think just to drive that home, I think that is the more important aspect. Yes, the money is astronomical. The money's brilliant. It's a great deal for Rangers, and getting the sell-on fee as well, which obviously the rumour was that Ajax don't do that with their deals. That's another great bit of business for Rangers to get that in place. But I totally agree with you. But it's my point, not yours. That I think it's so attractive to players to know that they can come to Rangers, develop, and move on to the Premier League. They all want to play there. They all want to go to the big leagues, La Liga and the Premier League or Serie A possibly. But see, when they know that path there, Joe Aribo's shown it, Parts has shown it, and now Bassey. You know, Bassey's going to move on to bigger things if he fulfills his potential. And I agree with you as well about Hutton. It's very similar to the Hutton deal, where Hutton just seemed to excel rapidly over 6-8 months, and he was playing fantastic for us domestically. And then in the Champions League, he starts tearing it up and sticking out, and then he starts playing well for Scotland as well. And we were never holding on to Hutton, and it's very similar to Bassey. What Bassey now needs to do is go on to the next level, which he can do, but at the same time, I think there was a few bedwetters with us letting Bassey go. If we don't have a good season this season, we held on to Bassey, his value would drop significantly. We had to strike when iron's hot and take that deal. And I think Ross Wilson gets huge credit for this. If it is him who negotiates it, but as the club as a whole, I think I've benefited from Bassey coming here, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's a humble big guy. I was listening to his interviews with Ajax, and he's a very humble individual, so I wish him all the best, and we'll probably see him when he's about 38, 39.
Probably. Might do it. Like Davy Weir playing at 41 or something, I never know. But I mean, I'll come back to you, Ryan. Obviously, it's a good link to we're talking about attracting players to Rangers in terms of coming here, developing, moving on. We've been heavily linked with a boy Faye Besiktas, 21-year-old Ridvan Yilmaz, €6 million, the Eagle Scotia reported, with a 20% sell-on clause, 5-year deal. He's had five caps for Turkey, and he's 21 years of age. Obviously, you were in Turkey recently, Ryan. I know you scouted him for Rangers. So, what's your thoughts on this boy?
Was he on the back of any shirts, Ryan? Was he on the back of any shirts?
I can't say too much, but yes, I did do a bit of scouting for Rangers, and the deal's pretty much done, Ali. Pretty much done. This boy looks a real deal. I think that Gio's been very, very shrewd with his business. Very shrewd. I think he's identified the problems we have. I think Borna Barisic got a good chance last year to prove to Gio that he was a man for left back and didn't. And that's why you're seeing Rangers spend money on the left back position. I'm not saying Borna won't come back and maybe stick it up Gio, but this guy's coming to play. He's come to start for Rangers, and it's another internationalist. There was a point in our banter years, if you want to put it that way, that I think we had no internationals. Our Carlos Bocanegra was probably the only one. Now we just seem to sign international players constantly now, and that can only be a good thing. Had a wee look at him on YouTube, of course. He looks absolutely Roberto Carlos style. He looks fantastic. But what I'm reading is on Twitter is the only place I'm reading it. But I'm reading that Besiktas fans are not too happy with the price they're letting him away for, and apparently he's a top player for them. Besiktas are regulars. Scotia would probably confirm this. I'm sure they're regulars in the Champions League. I think they're the team to beat in Turkey these days. So if we're signing players like that, this is down to, in my opinion, down to this European run. We have caught the eye. We are in the shop window. We are an attractive club that we maybe once weren't a few years back. And no, I'm excited. I'm excited with him. I'm excited about all the signings, really, if I'm honest. To get a guy from Bayern Munich as well who featured throughout the season for them, even just as a sub, will look to be going about a business very shrewdly.
Yeah, Scotia, you're the stats man in this show, and I'd assume you've had a look at this boy for Besiktas, stats, etc. Had a look at him. What's your thoughts on him? Obviously, I think he's maybe got a year left in his contract at the moment. I know he wanted to get money because that's his boyhood team, Besiktas. So, what's your thoughts on him? And have you done any scouting?
I like how you set me up to fail on that one, because I've had a very brief. Yeah, I've had a very brief look at him because nothing was confirmed, and it really only kind of rolled into action over the course of sort of yesterday and today, really. And any rumours I've seen, but I've had a very brief look at him, and yes, looks ideal. Right, young age, 21's a good age to come in at, because Borna's getting on now. Borna's 28, 29. So I think good age. No, he might be even as old as that, yeah. So good age to come in at. I think we'd even, before Bassi left back was probably one of the areas that we needed a wee bit extra depth to cover. Anyway, because obviously you've seen Devine getting played out there for 15 to 20 minutes against West Ham, and obviously he's more naturally right-sided. So I think we definitely need that. So to have now two players in there vying for that left-back spot will be good. I do think he'll probably come in to be the starter. But I'm giving Borna a wee bit more credit in the bank than Ryan perhaps is, because I still think his performances last season were probably hindered by the injury that he carried into the very beginning of pre-season and the start of the season that he'd caught the season before. But no, he looks good. Fairly decent stats. Good few assists. Maybe not to the level that you would expect from our fullbacks, but I don't watch Turkish football, so I don't know if they're just that's the way that Besiktas tend to play or not. But like Ryan said, Besiktas are one of the top clubs, obviously traditionally top 3 club in Turkey, but at the moment they're doing well, and he had a few games in the Champions League last season as well, so get some good European experience. So yes, looks interesting if we can get this done. No doubts it'll flash up in about 7 or 8 minutes time at 7 o'clock that's him signed.
Well, hopefully we can break news if that happens, Scotia, on this. But Carney, like Scotia kind of alluded there to, he's played a lot of games for Besiktas at an early age in an intimidating league that is Turkey, against decent teams in there. Scotia said he's played a couple of Champions League games. So this boy's coming in to play left back for us. He's not coming in to play second fiddle to Borna, and maybe that's why we're seeing that extra 10-20% in Borna at the moment.
Yeah, we all know Borna is very much a mental player. We all know he's a more than good enough left back, but only when he's in the right frame of mind. And I think it was a wee bit of him trying to prove a point as well the other night. In terms of this deal, I'd be painting the wall again. From what Scotia said, I think he's coming in at the right time. I think Borna's getting to that stage as well that he's kind of he's been about. I don't expect Borna to finish his career with Rangers at all. So I think he's getting towards the last stages of his Rangers career. And this boy's coming in as there's a bit of hype around this one, and maybe it's the fee as well. I don't know, because we're not really used to this. It's not. I don't know what did we 50 grand or 60 grand for Jason Holt how many years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's not that anymore. That's the thing. We're now at the point where we're making moves and we're making a bit of noise in European football. We're never going to be like Premier League spending wise, but the business is good and it's exciting because we're looking to spend that amount of money on a player. I'm very excited about this because there is rumours, and I think he is at the age, and Scotia spot on with his stats as well, that he's not the kind of Rangers fullback yet, but he's at an age where he could definitely be coached into that. I don't think there's any great doubt that he'll be able to adjust his game to what we expect as a fullback at Rangers. So very exciting. I have been furiously refreshing Twitter as we've been doing this, and the latest one that I've seen is that Yilmaz didn't take part in their training session tonight, so it doesn't look like he's there.
Yeah.
So, but as I say, Fabrizio Romano said it earlier on, and I think 99 times out of 100 he's correct. So it looks like it's going to happen. It will happen as soon as we go off air. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Of course it will. And then obviously a guy that we have confirmed who was paraded at halftime. Scotia, we missed him because we were inside, so he was paraded by Tillman, is Ben Davies. I'll come to you, Scotia, as a defender at heart, left-sided centre half. Came from Preston, played a lot of games. He's been out on loan a lot. Went to Liverpool. I know the other side of the city were looking at him before he went to Liverpool. Chose Liverpool. He was at Sheffield United on loan last season. And he's came to us for a reported fee of up to 4 million, not euros, £4 million. What's your thought on this boy?
Well, yeah, I think firstly, in terms of getting in another defender that's left-sided, it's vitally important. It gives you that balance. So I think as soon as we heard the news about Helander looking like he's going to have another one of these injury-plagued seasons, it's something that we really needed, particularly with Bassi leaving as well. So that's good to see him coming in, because it allows you that balance that you can play a left-footed player and a right-footed player if you're playing a centre pairing of two. But I've got some suspicions. I don't know, but we probably won't get onto teams for the Spurs game, but I've got a suspicion that at some point tomorrow we'll see a back three of Suter, Goldson and Davis, just to see how that works. So I think that's good. I think Carney had mentioned it on the pod he'd done on Tuesday night there, that the price that he's coming in for, it looks like he's going to have to be a starter unless one of the other players that are currently there ups their game and sort of keeps him out the team, which works in my book, works either way for me. So looking forward to it. Obviously, he went to Liverpool, but did he not go to Liverpool because they had like a defensive crisis at the point? Like Van Dijk was out and the other centre half was out, so they needed cover. So I think he never really played for Liverpool. But he's got over 150 games experience at Championship level with Preston and Sheffield United last season. So he's that's a tough league because all the teams are really similar to each other. There's not too many that are too far in front. So he's got good grounding in there. So I think he'll come in and be more than capable to handle stuff domestically and hopefully as well in Europe. Because like I say, I think he's going to be a regular starter for us over the course of the season.
Yeah, Ryan, Scotia's saying it there, and Carney obviously said it on his after the West Ham game in terms of Davies. We're not spending that money, I'd imagine, for him to sit on the bench behind Suter. He's left-sided, so naturally he'd be better with Goldson. What's your thoughts on him? And also, it puts Helander even further down this pecking list, and even Nico Katic, who we don't talk about that much either.
Yeah, I think Gio's probably looked at his return from Helander last season, and not just him. I know people liked Balogun, and I liked him as well. He did get injured a lot and obviously played with Nigeria as well. And he's probably looked at his return and games played for Rangers and thought, I can get somebody, if not at the same level or better, and bring him in an upgrade. and I think you're starting to see why I let Balogun go. I've never seen Davies play before, not to my knowledge anyway. I know that he played with Sheffield United last year, but I'm happy with Suter as well. But I think it's healthy competition, and I think it's good to see again. I'll keep praising Gio. He needs to get praised, but he's not taking any risks. He's got two players in each position. He's not thinking to himself, hopefully Hollander's back and hopefully Katic works out. He's obviously been very clear to the board and said, I need a centre half or two, if you're counting Suter, and I need them now. And I think that Ben Davies should walk up here. If he's played in the Championship and played down south, he should walk up here. He's 6 foot, and he's what, mid-20s only? I think he's still mid-20s.
Yeah, 26 or something, yeah.
He's got a
he turns
career ahead of him.
27 in August.
Yeah, so he's got a career ahead of him, and I think it's a good bit of business. I was surprised we paid so much for him. I know it's a player from Liverpool, but he hasn't played a lot of football. But at the same time, you've got, if he is quality, then you've got to pay for it. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, Carney, obviously you did a bit on him after the West Ham game. He is coming in as a starter, Davies. He's not going to come up here and sit on the bench for us. He's been sitting on the bench for Liverpool, and that's why he went to Sheffield United. So, similar to the rest of you boys, I do watch a lot of Championship football, but I can't say that I've really seen this boy or he stood out to me. So, I'll just need to judge him when I see him. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think the same, mate. But at the same time, I still believe he's at the age, and he's played at enough clubs that he could have stayed down south, I would imagine. And I always like when they choose to come to Rangers when there is other offers on the table. Now, again, every signing's a risk. I think everybody's going to say that, but again, Ryan made a fantastic point I didn't think about, that you can maybe now see why Balogun did go. I think there was always something else coming in the pipeline that Gio had planned, and we have a left-footed. Am I correct? He's left-footed, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm sure he is. Yeah, left-footed, left-sided. Yeah, it's everything that we've really been asking for, and I can't see how it can't be an upgrade on Hollander. I think I give Hollander a bit of a bad time because of his injury proneness, but I have never, hand on heart, honestly felt like we were solid while Hollander was there. I know there was this thing kicking about that we hadn't conceded a goal while Hollander played, etc. for so long. It was like a Twitter page, I think, at one point. I do get that, but I think this is going to be an upgrade. And I just the business, the lack of business at the start had us all wondering what was going on, and now the business is just getting better and better and better, and I'm very excited to see him play. So yeah, that's what I mean. We mentioned about Suter. I think Suter was very aware the other night that there was somebody had just signed and was going to be paraded very soon, and the rush of bloods to the head where he got caught out a couple of times. I think Suter still have his part to play, of course I do, but I think we are not spending that money for the guy to sit on the bench. So it's going to be Goldson and Davis at the back.
Yeah, no, I agree with Scotia. I can see this back three being played in certain games. I think we've got the players to play it now, so it'll be interesting to see going forward. But before we move on to other stories that have come on, is a word from our sponsors. Manscaped have signed up Club at 22 for the coming season. Got bush? You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor, Manscaped. Taking control of your bush is important. These products are so good, you're going to be shown pride in your new bush-free garden. It's a fact that you'll have the best kept nutsack on the cul-de-sac, save big and be the most hygienic version of yourselves by using our discount code CLUB22 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Crotch discomfort hurting your game? Fear no more. The kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxers briefs out there. Sleek, soft, comfortable and flexible. The brand new Boxers 2.0. Take your balls to the royal ball throne. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Lawnmower 4.0 for the trimming, so you can wear your Boxers 2.0 for the chilling. And they are decent Boxers, to be fair. Carney really likes them. Finish it off with your Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver. Spray-on Testy Toner, which is Scotia's favourite. So 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code CLUBIT22. And what will your balls do, Ryan?
Yeah, also thank you.
Well, indeed. Thanks to Manscaped for the continued support. Go check out their products. They're generally fantastic. And if you use the code, it supports our podcast as well. So, yeah, I always love reading that big spiel out because it's huge. And I can hear Scotia in the background giggling like a schoolgirl. So it doesn't quite help when he's doing that in the background. So, Scotia, you're up for the next one.
You have to do it sometimes because I do it all the time, and
Well,
I've
I know,
got
it's
to
a
like,
fair
try and
spiel.
make up all the time. Yeah, you've got it. Do you know what I mean? You've got it. But I've tried. I had to mute myself. I was actually going to slip something in that time because the last time I didn't. And I thought,
I would have
you
read
messaged me earlier.
I would have been like Ron Burgundy. He always reads that up, doesn't he?
But no, I thought it's tough enough as it is, mate. But no, thank you, Manscaped. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that big spiel to read out. It's brilliant. But no, moving on. I'm going to come to a man that says what he thinks all the time. He'll say to folk in the comments what he thinks too. Ryan, the BBC have said sorry to Rangers, and apparently they are getting back into Ibrox as of this season. What's your thoughts on the BBC?
Well, now that I no longer work with them, Ali, obviously we kept that a bit quiet, but I no longer work with them, so I can probably have my say on this. Long time coming, probably, if I'm being honest. Things like this do seem petty, but I quite like the way Rangers went about it, Ali. I mean, if you're going to write nonsense or tweet nonsense or whatever, report nonsense, it's not fact or correct, then get it up you. You're not coming to us. We run Scottish football. Well, us and that lot run Scottish football. We're the big fish. So we're where the views come in for them. We're where the hits come in for them. Everything Rangers is where they'll make their money, and they must have hated it. Rangers really stuck it up them. But my understanding, and it might be wrong, so this is not me giving you any inside information, but the last I heard Rangers' stance on it was if any agreement came in place and they could move on from this, it was on the terms that Chris McLaughlin would not get back into Ibrox. So that will be very interesting if Rangers have stuck with that. But yeah, you've got to be mature. You've got to move on with things. And listen, I think a lot of people will be glad to see Rangers back on BBC because not everyone can afford digital television. So some people get to see them, whether it's, I don't know, the BBC get cup games. No, it isn't. It's Premier, isn't it?
Premier.
Does it get Scottish Cup?
No,
Even
they might get
they'll
get the final, maybe. They might get the final, but I don't think they'll get the rest of it.
Just a bit of Rangers. They'll get Rangers content, and hopefully it's a bit less biased. But I'd like to hear Mr. Stewart's say on it. I'd love to hear what he's got to think about it. He must be fuming.
Yeah, Carney, it'll be interesting to see about McLaughlin if he's still going to be standing in that roundabout or whatever, or is he actually going to be in at Ibrox? So, yeah, the BBC to me can shove their apology. They're only doing it because they need to get back in at Ibrox because they know we are the Premier team. We were in a Europa League final last season. We're making business this season potentially to win the league this season coming. So they have to be in at Ibrox. And to me, it's an apology. I don't think it is an apology for them. It's just to get back into Ibrox. That's all it is for me.
The statement was powder puff, man. It absolutely was. It was like trying to take ownership, but not at the same time. It was like a letter from an insurance company. Do you know what I mean? It was horrific. I'm the same. The BBC can do one. I've got no interest in the BBC having anything to do with Rangers. It's more for them than it is for us. I don't think we need the BBC to be involved. I do understand the argument of not everybody can afford to subscribe or to do anything along the lines of that. I do understand that. I do. But, I mean, all you're really going to get is the interviews after the games now. That's it. Because before it used to, they would just read out whatever he said to RTV. They would literally watch RTV and then put it on as a kind of speech bubble, if you like. So no, I am in the same understanding as Ryan that that wee thing won't be anywhere near Ibrox, which should remain like that. And I would imagine the same will apply for Mr. Stewart as well. He shouldn't be anywhere near Ibrox, in my opinion, either. But this is I mean, I get Rangers doing it. Rangers are still within their rights to knock back anybody they want. It's their stadium. They can do what they please with it. But yeah, it's all a bit we'll wait and see. I will wait and see. Obviously, I don't want to be too overly critical, even though I probably am, but we'll wait and see what the kind of coverage is going to be like and what the response to what BBC's response to it will be, if you like, in terms of the way that they're going to portray Rangers. But I'm not really interested in it, to be completely honest. I'm shocked that it happened. Hell is definitely frozen over now. I never expected this to happen. I can only imagine there's powers that be above BBC Scotland that's come in and said, you have to make an apology here. You have to. But nah, not for me.
Scotia, any thoughts to add on the BBC?
Well, to be honest, it's been that. It's been that long since we've kind of been at each other's throat that I actually forget what the incident was that started the whole thing off. In terms of Chris McLaughlin not being allowed in, and then there was obviously that standoff. So it's been for years like that. But ultimately, I think it's a good thing that they're now moving forward with it, because the BBC is a sort of a national public service that should. You obviously, it's been said often enough. You have to pay for it. You have to pay your TV license if you've got a TV, so you have to pay for that. So you should be getting decent coverage, and Rangers fans, in terms of the sporting football audience in Scotland, will make up over 50%, I would imagine, of the kind of viewership in Scotland. So they need like a balanced view in that. So hopefully they can move forward. But it's the BBC in Scotland in general, the sports stuff in it for me has been going. It's not been great for a while now. You used to get loads back in the day. It seemed to be an awful lot better. There was loads of TV shows. At the moment, all that's really there's The Terrace, which is a decent programme, but that's aimed at non-Old Firm fans, really. So not for, it's not really somewhere you'd go to get Rangers news. But I think it's good in terms of moving forward. And I kind of agree with what Carney's saying there, that I think BBC down in London and Manchester must have been looking over the past few seasons, particularly when Gerrard came in. Why aren't we going to get interviews with Gerrard? And then obviously last season getting to the Europa League final. Wait a minute, you've got the Europa League finalists, but you're refusing to kind of deal with them. So I think it's in the best interest of everyone that we move forward with it. And we'll see, like everyone else, we'll just see what comes with it. I'm not expecting a huge amount to start with, but hopefully it can grow over the years.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the BBC, but I'm not interested in them. So we move on. Anyway, moving on to something that hasn't been confirmed, but it pretty much has been confirmed. Hopefully over the weekend it will be. Garni, I'll come to you. Our captain signed in 2015 from Wigan for whatever it was, 200, 300 grand, is reportedly signing a 2-year contract extension to 2026, which would take him to a testimonial. James Tavernier, and the age of 34. I think this guy could go on for even more years because he's just a machine. We've said it for donkeys, Carney. He's happy here. He's settled. He's got his kids. He's the captain of the Rangers as well. This is good news.
Terrific news. Absolutely fantastic news. When's the last time anybody had a testimonial for any team? Like, genuinely, it used to seemed like it happened all the time when we were younger and grown up, and it probably did. It's not the way football is nowadays. But no, for Tav to commit pretty much the rest of his career to us, it's brilliant. I think he could retire at Rangers if he really wants to. This guy is he's going to go down as one of the best pound for pound players we have ever bought. Based on his stats and the return that he's had, he went through the absolute dribble wares and he's came back and he's been rewarded for it, and he deserves to lift a lot more trophies than he has so far. I'm delighted about this. I really am. I think he deserves it. He deserves to be one of the highest paid at the club, which he probably, I'd imagine, will be now. And yet, for him to stay and to get a testimonial, that's going to be a spectacular achievement, a spectacular event to go to. Goodness knows who we'll see back for a game like that. They'll probably play against a mixed version of the players that used to play for Rangers with him at the same time. That'd be Rob some Kiernan. Team trying. Rob Kiernan, I was thinking that. Maybe Martin Waghorn, possibly. Candias as well. Candias would probably bring him back, but no, thoroughly deserved for James Tavernier, and he's a future Hall of Famer. I questioned, I'll openly admit, I questioned when he was made captain, and how he proved me wrong. and he will be remembered as a club legend. It's always hard when a player's still at the club to think of them as a kind of legendary status, but I've got no doubt about it. The guy is going to be remembered as a legend, and yeah, he'll be remembered as one of the best signings we've probably ever had, and he's probably the second best right back we've ever had. So yeah, delighted for him, absolutely delighted for him, delighted for us. Means he's sticking around, but yeah, looking forward to his testimony already. Not that I want to wish his career away or anything like that, but it's a rare thing, a testimonial nowadays.
Yeah, Scotia, I mean, for a guy to stay how long he's been through some turbulent years with Rangers as well, I've mentioned many a time he could have easily left and went down south again, stayed with us, got his just deserves. And as Carney says, he's looking at a testimonial with Rangers, which is unheard in modern day football.
It's cracking news, because I think he's already contracted to 2025, isn't he? Which kind of just takes him up to the season. Was it 24 it is? Sorry, I thought he was into the 24-25 season. But I know when it stops, it's just the next season that'll be his testimonial year. So I think it's vital that we got him signed up for that, because it'll be a good week. When the day comes, it'll be a great wee occasion, I'd imagine. So hopefully he can have some great years in the intervening period. But I think as well, it's probably more, it's not just obviously for the testimonial, it's Rangers securing the asset, because people will be looking at Tav after his performances. So it's putting another year onto his contract, giving him a better wage so that Tav doesn't decide, oh, look at this offer over here, I can't not refuse that. So I think it's really good business by Rangers in that sense, getting him tied down a wee bit longer. And going forward, you just hope that something similar's happening in the background with your likes of Kent and Alfie.
Yeah, Ryan, it takes him up to the age of 34, the end of that deal, if reportedly he does sign it. Like I say, I think the guy's a machine. You've seen him out this pre-season. He's out in Dubai doing with personal trainers. He's not out in America or Ibiza getting pissed like the rest of them. He's out training, and he's a very important player for Rangers to have going forward. And I'd assume you're as delighted as the three of us that he's looking like he's signing up for another couple of years.
I'm wondering by the time, if he's 34, that Sikowski will maybe get a game by then, but stay tuned for that one.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually. I forgot about Sikowski,
I'd be echoing a lot of what the guys have said, but at the same time, I would be a hypocrite if I sat here and shout for rooftops, because I am very much, I think it was Curry Muncher said, I'm a very, very much a FFS sake, whatever you want to call it, Tav guy. I rip into him constantly, but he's earned that. He's earned that contract. His performances, I think it was being Carney did a pod about him after one of the European games. His performances in Europe last season where they blew me away, because I didn't think he had it in his locker. I've always thought his 55 season, I thought he peaked there. I think he just led by example, and I want to see that again this season. I want to see him lifting trophies, because that's what he now needs to add, and that's not all on him. But that's what he needs to add for me to get to this legendary status, and that could come now. This contract, I'm sure he'll be looking at this Rangers team and thinking, some change in this team compared to the team that when I first played here, and he must fancy getting his hands on some more trophies, because he's been here a long time, and as you say, he's taken a few pastings, but he's earned that contract. He's a very popular figure in the dressing room and very popular with the fans, and he's our captain, so it did make sense, and it's, he's settled for 4 years, and I agree with the boys and yourself. I think he will see his career out at Ibrox now.
Yeah, I think he represents Rangers really well as a captain. He's a good guy. I just think everything you want a Rangers captain, and how he should be, how he should conduct himself. I think he does that. James Tavernier, you never see him in the back of a newspaper doing something. He's got a young family, he's married, he's quite happy up here. The only thing I would say in Tav, hopefully this season, I know he takes the penalties. I hope one of the new boys coming in can share the free kicks.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think Tom Lawrence potentially could be that guy to hit free kicks for us. So
is Tom Lawrence already the new Joe Aribo to you? Is that the way you feel about Tom Lawrence? Yeah,
it's because like I say, I've seen a lot of him in the Championship, and I always used to think he's a decent player. And when he came to us, I thought, no, he'll do us a turn. So we'll see, Carney. I've not seen Tillman yet. I've not seen the new left back coming in potentially, so I need to see who my new favourite player will be. But moving on from that to the European draw for the third round. So Scotia, I'll come to you. I'd assume, I know you didn't do stats in the last one, but I assume you've done stats in this. Union Saint-Gilles in the Belgian League. We play away on the 2nd of August and we play at home on the 9th. The downside is it's on Premier Sports, so I don't know whether we'll actually get to see the game or not, but it is on Premier Sports. Scotia, you actually, if I'll let you tell everyone about this Belgian League, because it's quite bizarre how they actually work out the champion of the Belgian League. He's on mute. Absolutely outstanding. Brilliant stuff.
Honestly, Scotia, what honest. Oh, he's exited himself. Oh, it's all went wrong there.
Sorry, everyone.
Hang on, I need to know that one down for the bloopers show. Hang on, I need to know that.
Absolutely brilliant. Yes, sorry about that. No, I was what I was saying there while I was on mute and before I took myself off camera was when Ryan was last on, he'd kind of asked this question. And I'd kind of said that this were the team that I probably wanted the most in terms of our first team that we would play in the qualifiers because, they finished top of the regular season in Belgium, which I think's 34 games. You play each team. There's 18 teams. You play each team twice, and then after that you go into a top 6 playoff league. Your points get halved, and then you play each other team again twice, and the winner of that, whoever tops that table at the end's the champions, which Club Brugge managed to do last season. So they're the ones that ended up straight into the Champions League. We faced this team in the third round playoff. Last season was their first season back up in Belgium for 40-50 years. So the Brighton's owners have got them as well. So a few Brighton players. I think one of the Brighton wingers has went and loaned to them this season. I know their striker from last season's went the opposite direction. So I think it's a fairly decent tie for us, and I'm hoping for the best. I know they start their league tomorrow as well. They start tomorrow. It's on. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or anything. I'll maybe try and see if there's a way I can watch it to get a wee bit of a further lowdown on them. But no, it should be a good tie.
Yeah, Ryan, I seen you there looking. When Scotia was explaining their league format there, I could see you wanted that introduced into Scottish football. What's your thoughts on their league format and obviously playing them?
That's some carry on that they've got over there. Is Neil Doncaster in charge of that, is he?
Yeah, I think
that's an absolute joke. So they lost the league because of that, Scotia, yes?
Yeah. And they were top of the league after 34 games by about 4 points or something.
Yeah. That suggests to me, as you would expect in a Champions League qualifier, that suggests to me they'll be absolutely no mugs. I did read that, again, Scotia will confirm this, have lost a couple of players from last season, so I don't know whether that will be, but I think we've got to be on it. I think this team will be pretty decent. Yes, because they got worse, but I think we've got to be on it. I think Malmo, we've got to learn from the Malmo game, where I think because we did well in the Europa League the year before Malmo, I think there was a bit of arrogance from the fans, maybe myself included, that we would just sweep Malmo aside and we get caught short. So I think Rangers have got to be on it in a week on Tuesday, and if they've started their league as well, I hate that. I hate when a team starts their league before we actually play them. It's I know we love one game under our belts, so it's only one game, but I'd imagine they're pretty primed and finished with a pre-season ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think we will have a game in our hands, Ali, if that's the case. If they've been leading that league, that Belgian league, and lost out to a playoff, then they'll be a decent outfit.
Well, they beat Feyenoord 4-0 in a friendly last week.
Yeah,
so
it's
a friendly as well. Did they beat Sporting Lisbon or something as well?
They're over them one each.
Oh, was it?
Again, like we need to. It's the same as we said last season. I don't fear it. We just need to be on it. If we're on it, we can beat a lot of teams. But we need to be on it, I think, and then we can Tuesday.
Yeah, right. Carney, Ryan's right there. I don't think Rangers will go into this game like they did against Malmo. I honestly think they went into Malmo last season thinking, it's Malmo, we should get through this. And I'd like to think they've learnt a lesson from that, and I think they'll respect this team. We should be able to beat this team over 2 legs, but there'll be no mugs. I mean, they were top of their league after 34 games. Obviously, we've paid Royal Antwerp in that league, Anderlecht's in there as well, Bruges. So they'll be a decent team.
They will be a decent team, yeah. Rangers can't underestimate this team at all, and I generally don't think they will. There's a few reasons that I kind of think that. One of them, and maybe the main one, is John Lundstrom. Second is Connor Goldson, the fact that he's committed his future to here, and so has James Tavernier. They are three pretty crucial people to keep the mentality correct within a tie like this. I agree with Ryan. If we show up and we play the way that we can, we will get through that. I think we've got every chance to, but no, we cannot be complacent. Nobody at this stage of the competition is going to be a mug. It's not going to be a walkover. It's not the way it used to be. I remember Rangers playing. Who was that team? Alania, Slav. I remember them, and it was like 10-3 in aggregate. And I remember watching McCoy score out there, and it was like the worst TV connection you can ever imagine. It's not like that anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that anymore. So no, they're going to be a decent outfit. That Belgian league is. I mean, we complain about the split. I mean, what is that? Honestly, straight in the bin with that. That is shocking. But no mugs, mate. Absolute no mugs. Looking forward to it, but I think we're more than capable of getting through, but we have to approach it correctly. But I do have belief in Gio. I've got belief in the leaders within the team that the mentality will be correct, and I'm quietly confident that we'll get through that round.
Yeah, I'm the same. And the second leg being at Ibrox, I like that, and I like that going as a fan, because you know what you need to do to get through, and it adds to the atmosphere. And also the draw for the playoffs is just before the first leg of the third qualifier, so we'll find out then who potentially we could get in the playoff round too. So that'll be interesting to see who we get in that one. Scotia, I don't know if you know the teams that we potentially could get in that.
Yeah, one in Monaco or PSV, because they get drawn against each other, which is good, because it means one of them are out. And then it'll be one of either Sturm Graz against the winners of Kiev and Fenerbahce, which is currently sitting at 0-0 after the game the other night. So decent teams, to be fair, that we need to get past this team first, but in the playoff that is decent teams. So it will be hard to get to the group stages, but we are more than capable of doing it. So moving on from that to the final bit of the show is the Spurs game at Ibrox tomorrow, which we're all looking forward to going. I think we're all going it tomorrow. 3 o'clock kickoff Saturday. It's a sellout as well, which I've seen. Really looking forward to this one. Obviously, Tottenham have brought in Perisic, Strikarlsson. They brought in another boy as well, Basuma, I think it was something like that. So they must start this season soon, Spurs. So this should be a good game. Scotia, I'll come to you first. Obviously, West Ham we dealt with on Tuesday night. Spurs coming up here with Harry Kane, Son, and a couple of other boys I mentioned there. This will be a good game. Yeah, I'm looking really forward to this. It's top quality opposition. The way that Conte's had them going in pre-season looks very, very tough, which I like to see. It brings you back to kind of the Jock Wallace going up the sands at the beach there, because there was folk, being violently sick after it. So I think they're getting trained really, really hard. They were obviously out in Korea just there. I noticed they played a couple of games out there, one against the K-League Select team fairly comfortably, and then they played against Sevilla last week and put out a very strong team and drew that one each. So I expect them, again, to put out a fairly strong team at Ibrox, because obviously their season kicks off just a week after ours. So it's not as if, usually with English teams, they've maybe get 2 or 3 weeks more pre-season than we do. So I expect them to be fairly strong tomorrow, and it should be a good challenge. And it's one of the reasons I expect we'll maybe see that back three play for us, because it's the type of team that I would expect us to play. Utilise a 3-5-2 formation.
Yeah, Ryan, Tottenham coming up, obviously, well, the big stars that they have. Tottenham, they underachieve in that Premiership. I think Tottenham, they must be a nightmare of a team to support, because they put a run of games together and then fall away. But they'll fancy themselves coming up tomorrow to give us a right good game, and it'll be interesting how we line up. I mean, I think the first half, I'd like to think the first half we'll line up kind of what we'll line up against Livingston at the weekend. I'd like to maybe think that. So what's your thoughts on Saturday?
Bear in mind, we also play Queen's Park on the Sunday, so this is very much like the Real Madrid-Brighton thing, where we've seen half a team. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's if he's just if he mixes it up a bit tomorrow, maybe not completely, but I wouldn't be surprised if he changes a few things tomorrow and there's a few surprises in there. Tottenham are a quality opposition, as you say. I think that's probably as perfect as an opposition you could get. Somebody who you have a chance with, but you need to be on your game because they'll be, as Scotia said, a week behind us in terms of the preparation. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm a big Son fan, so I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm hoping he's going to be playing tomorrow. But yeah, Rangers just need to go out and treat it like a competitive game. I think that's what Gio will be looking for. He'll be looking for them to be sharp and have a go, just the way he did against West Ham. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see him. The one man I want to see tomorrow is Tillman. My oldest son has got me built up to a frenzy with this Tillman. Apparently he's the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm excited about him, and I'm excited to see him and where he fits in this team. And I am hoping that he's playing against Tottenham tomorrow and not Queen's Park. So yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being at Ibrox again with my dad and seeing some decent football.
Yeah, Carney, I mean, I'd like to think the starting lineup is going to be more of the new boys we've seen the second half of the West Ham game. Your Matondos, Lawrences. Do we see Davies starting? I don't know. Tillman, I'd imagine he'll come on for a cameo. So, yeah, it's exciting. Like I say, it is a sellout. It's 50,000 fans. The other half of the city, as Ryan said in our group chat, are actually playing tomorrow as well, which is bizarre to have the two of them. But we'll have a full house, and looking forward to it.
Very much so, mate. Yes, looking forward to getting back to Ibrox, my first time for this season. No, I'm the same as say Ryan. I'm a massive fan of Son. I think he's a fantastic footballer, so I really hope we get to see him. And this is kind of what it's all about. You want a kind of glamour tie for pre-season, but I think where both teams are at pre-season is probably a good thing. Obviously, we're just about to start our league the following week. And when's the Premier League? 2 weeks?
Week
2
after,
weeks?
I think it is.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Tomorrow.
So they're at pretty much a similar stage as us. So it'll be an exciting game. I would like to think the old man Rangers Da thing in me's going, if we're all buying tickets, he better play all the new players and not save them all for the Sunday. I mean, no disrespect to the B team, but I'm not paying to watch the B team tomorrow. I'm paying to watch the new boys. It would be great to see Tillman tomorrow. I agree. I would like to think the team that starts tomorrow, I would like to think will be the team that starts against Livingston, maybe with one or two alterations in that. But I'm hoping we see Davis, I'm hoping we see Tillman, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Matondo and Lawrence in the flesh. And yeah, just getting back to Ibrox, mate, it's a good feeling, this one. Let's hope the weather holds up just a wee bit. Just a wee bit would be better.
Yeah, I looked at the weather, and it looks... it doesn't look great, to be honest, for later on. As long as it stays dry, walking there and walking back to the pub afterwards, I'll be happy with that.
You can do it at once, yes.
I do it once in between all that nonsense, but that's fine. But
breaking news, mate.
Breaking news. Well, we're breaking news. Here we go.
Gordon Ramsay was at the Rangers training centre today.
That's about 3 hours. I heard it here first. What did he cook, Carney?
I know, mate, honestly. No, nothing. Literally nothing.
Oh, he had folks
just quickly before we wrap up and go. Sorry, I disrupted everything there. Ryan, you've got a good point. When it rains at Ibrox, I don't really know when I'm at the game. You get absolutely soaked, mate.
Battered with it. And I'll tell you something. See if it's like that tomorrow, my dad will be sitting himself and I'll be in the pub. Simple.
I know what you mean. Quickly, I've seen people put it in. Just before we go, the new kit. Obviously, it's not new. We've seen it months ago. Quickly, what's your thoughts on it, Ali? Sorry, you can take hosting back now.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the new kit, but like you say, Carney, we've seen it months ago. It's the same as a home kit. It was like, we've seen that. I like it. My sister was actually going to buy it for her husband today, and but she thought she'd text him first. It came back when I don't like it, so that's glad she didn't buy it for him. So my thoughts were, I quite like it, to be honest. I think it's all right, but again, what's the point? Because it's been leaked months ago and I've seen it, so it kind of takes the joy out of it a wee bit. Scotia?
It's a Rangers top, so I don't dislike it, but at the same time, it's not really for me. I've seen better away kits.
Brian, obviously you've seen the away kit for 23-24 in Turkey, so you're about a year ahead of us all, so you've seen this ages ago.
I did. Telemint in the back of it. Lazy. It's a lazy design from Castor. I'm not impressed from don't end the negative, but that's how I feel about it, and yes, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's our thoughts on the away kit. So that was very enjoyable in that. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll buy it. I know I've got the orange, I've got the home top as well, I've got a training top as well. I'm the same as you boys. I think Rangers will cut their ties with Castor when it's up in a year's time, if it is, and we'll move on because they've not been great. Let's be honest about it. But yeah, that is us. That has been everything. That's been a bit of a hectic show, to be honest, tonight, guys. That has been a lot of points to get through.
When is it not a hectic show?
I know. To be fair, I was actually going to come to you and ask for your starting lineup for tomorrow, but I thought, no, we'll leave that for Livingston because it's a friendly. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to say thanks to my guests. First of all, Scott Carney, thanks for letting me host and coming on. I
don't let you host, mate. I just take a break from time to time. Brilliant, mate. Really good. I'm surprised we get through all that in that time, mate. Really look forward to tomorrow now. And just a quick bit of housekeeping for the pod. Things were going to be completely back to normal as of next week. Club Deck Corner will be back. Club Preview will be back, and we'll be back in full swing for club reactions, etc. So it's all kicking off again next week. Thank you for your patience with us over the summer, but it's all kicking off again now. So I can't wait. Thank you, gentlemen, and I will see you tomorrow.
I will indeed. And Scotia, thanks for coming on. I didn't know if you were coming on or not because you didn't see any group chat you were coming on, but you're here. So all your fans are delighted. I will see you tomorrow, and thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, cheers. I've managed to get through another pod and put something else to the collection of my bloopers for the end of the season, and it's not really started yet. So, yes, excellent. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's become a bit of a theme now, Scotia, with you. So you can keep that up. That'll be good, and we can do a blooper show at the end of the season. And finally, Ryan, I hope you enjoy your night tonight. And yeah, maybe we'll see you tomorrow.
It was a stellar debut from Ryan as well. You forgot to say that, Ali. It was a stellar debut.
Maybe like natural. You think I'd done this before? Aye. Cheers, Ali. Good job hosting, mate. Hope you have a nice night, evening. I hope you get a full night's sleep again, Carney. I will no doubt see you tomorrow. If I'm feeling up for it, I'll see you tomorrow. Come get you for a pint.
Sounds good. Yep. I'd like to thank the boys again, and obviously all the folk in the comments. It was great to have you in, everyone watching us on YouTube. So yeah, if you could like, share, subscribe, I'd be very thankful for that. And because we're closing in on 3,000 subscribers, which would be good to hit soon. Hopefully we can do it very soon. That would be a good one for us. But yeah, we have been Club at 22 the Rangers podcast, and we will be back with a match reaction on Saturday for the Tottenham game.